All right, so this is my presentation on the TVA or Tennessee Valley Authority. My name is Elizabeth, and during the Great Depression, Tennessee suffered a lot with its agriculture. The Tennessee River flooded the area so frequently and left a lot of homes basically demolished, a lot of families homeless, impoverished, and there was also extreme drought, which really ruined the soil and resources that we had and eroded a lot of our infrastructure. Now, Dr. Harcourt Morgan was a University of Tennessee professor who saw the need to have a reform on the Muscle Shoals plant. So, the Muscle Shoals plant was actually a nitrate plant placed under the Wilson administration, but it really wasn't going well. And he saw the potential for fertilization production. And the quote down there was actually from the Congress's suggestion that was sponsored. The bill was sponsored by Nebraska Senator Norris, who really saw the need to have a yardstick program that would be essentially an example and a test run for the rest of the country's power plants. So FDR signed it in 1933, May 1933, and he saw that people in Tennessee, he had actually come down here and saw that a lot of people were so far behind. There was so many families he met that had never even slept on a mattress before, and this was obviously a big concern to him. So the power was really not as big of an issue as the standard of living, and he made that clear in the press conference that this quote is from. Now, John Orton was a TVA representative, and he really wanted to get the idea out there to the rural farmers that this was not just some mere government interference, which a lot of them saw it as. He wanted them to understand that it was going to be something that would be beneficial to their crops and overall well-being. So that inspired a lot of people to start working in it and constructing dams and power plants, which would eventually be sued first by the Alabama power plant, but by many others, saying that it was unconstitutional to construct them on their grounds, but they were overruled by the Supreme Court. And Lorena Hickok was a journalist in the 1930s who was actually down here in 1934 and wrote a letter saying that thousands of men were at work getting out there and building these dams, preparing themselves for the fuller lives they are to lead in that promised land, basically a better life than what they've been living for decades now, of just very poorly run agriculture and infrastructure. However, she also wrote down that a lot of people were indifferent to the change. They were more or less just kind of okay with what's going on. They weren't really wanting to get involved very much, but other people were very happy to get working again. Now, the effects it made electricity possible for these families, gave them, obviously a raised standard of living. Overall, a lot of them got out of poverty or at least got some roof over their heads. And obviously during the World War II era, it helped out with all the nuclear plants that we have down here. And we were constructing nuclear bombs, so we needed all that energy, and so we used the hydroelectric power for that as well. The fertilizer production, Dr. Morgan had helped out a lot with that and really had started our economy, and the nitrate plants were switched to phosphate plants, and it unstunted crops, which basically means it helped out the soil. And it was essentially a very important power plant contributor to the Southeast. It launched the first green power program over here in 2000, has been a champion for clean nuclear energy, and was also a very helpful hand in cleaning up the pollution that the Kingston fossil plant had dropped with tons of coal ash in East Tennessee, and they really helped out clean out the pollution. And here are my sources. Thank you very much.